Good morning. Give everybody a little bit of time to get everybody on here. Hope everybody's having a fantastic Tuesday. I know the weather in some parts seems like we're just going to be continuously drenched lately. And I keep laughing. Many of you know that we've gotten a new puppy, and uh, I'm the one that's home right now with him, and I keep thinking of all the times to get one, but I don't know if lately there would be a good time to be able to have to go outside all the time and take him out. So we're going to give it just a few minutes as everybody's joining. I am Amy D. Kilpatrick. I'm the president of Inspired Business Solutions, and of course, one of the initiatives with Inspired is here at Inspired Nation, where we have professionals that come to collaborate and celebrate and to connect with one another. And so the tips I share here on Tuesdays are just that, to be able to kind of help you go out there if you're doing live in-person networking activities. And I call them activities. They're not all events. They're activities that you may do. It could be strategy sessions. It could be workshops you're going to, networking events you're going to, trade shows that you're working. There's all different type of opportunities. And today we're going to talk about really a unique way of looking at networking. So do me a favor, as we're waiting on everyone to kind of jump on, hit that invite button and invite some people to our session here this morning, because honestly today's topic, the more the merrier. So the more people we have jumping on here and sharing their experience. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. I'm hitting the invite button to invite some more people on here, some more professionals that we can all connect with and feel like we're all in the same boat, that we're all out there struggling, trying to grow our business, trying to connect. Of course, we want to do it in a way that we're all making money without, necessarily spending money, that our expenses are going out the door faster than we've got it coming in. And that's one of the reasons why I love referral marketing, because if you do it right, then over time, it's not an instant fix. I tell everyone referral marketing, it's, you have to spend time with it. And, your biggest investment, of course, is yourself, but it's also your preparation. So I used to say, it's just your time. Well, it's your time to prep also, time to do your homework, time to plan your strategy. And so, there is an investment into your referral marketing strategy, and it's not always financially, where you're not doing a financial outlay, but there is a significant difference between working your referral marketing strategy versus some other traditional ways of letting people know who you are and what you do and how to reach you. And I'm saving a segment probably for next week to actually talk about that, the comparative frustrations, the pros and cons of referral marketing versus some of the traditional ways that you may be going out there and growing your business. Today, I want to talk about the good and the bad of networking, and because I get to see all sides of it. And I've been doing referral marketing since 2000, or actually 1999. So we'll go back all the way to 1999 is when I began to explore what referral marketing is, how do you grow your business, networking, truly networking, not just attending events. How do you use your words, and that you strategically, using your words to the right audience can generate the results that you're looking for. Thank you for that heart there. So it made such an impact. Obviously, it ended up influencing the rest of what my career looked like, not only growing my business, my accounting practice at the time, but I got very involved. And for a stint of almost 16 years, got very involved with the BNI organizations, how I know a lot of you. But then it really kind of spearheaded what we wanted to do here with Inspired. And believe it or not, it's been 11 years since we started Inspired and began to take some of the things that I learned and David learned the hard way. And of course, the connection between David and I was that we were both accountants out there trying to grow our book of business. He was in Texas, I was in Georgia, but we were introduced. It was an introduction, a referral, and we were able to kind of compare our successes, but also the things that had kind of, we've run up against, what roadblocks we had ran up against when we were out there trying to learn this thing called referral marketing. And so a lot of our trainings come from not just our successes, but how we overcame roadblocks that I have learned over the years. It's not a matter of if you're going to hit some of these roadblocks. For most of you, it's just a matter of when and what's it going to look like when they come up. And so, or at what point in your career or your business are you going to hit that roadblock? Because I like to think that there's some roadblocks that if I was to come up against them now, I would handle them differently, or I would have other resources to get around those roadblocks than I did when I started this whole thing, back in 1999. And so, I can see how referral marketing has made such a difference with me. One, it has connected me to all of you. All of you who are here at Inspired Nation. I have a lot of people I'm just connected to around the globe that I wouldn't have been connected to if it wasn't for this incredible thing, where we're able to come together and surround ourselves with professional people who want to be a part of each other's success story. And I truly believe that that's possible. So hopefully you guys are all jumping on. I'm going to try to do a split screen here so that I can see comments and be able to kind of communicate with you guys as we're jumping on here. But I would love for you guys to take a moment. If you're jumping on, go ahead and share. As you all know, on Tuesdays, on the TTTs here, I strongly encourage you to go introduce yourself. Tag your Facebook page. I'm okay if you tag something very specific. If you've got an event on your Facebook page, if you've got something going on your website, if you have a way to share a special. But here's the deal. The way I want you to word it, and this is the difference between sales mode and referral marketing, instead of telling it to us as if you were talking to an audience of potential consumers, okay? Tell it in a way that you're educating people who have the ability to share it and possibly know someone who has a need, that what you're offering or what your deal or what your special or what your specialty is the solution to that problem. So we want to stay true to what we're doing here at Inspire, but I always tell everyone, and if you know what we teach in Inspire, we talk about the 5 levels of referrals that you can generate for your business. And a level 1 referral is really an inter-network referral, where people that are actively engaged in the same network have a need for one another's services, and therefore business transaction takes place. And that's an inter-network referral, closed business, everything that happens with that would be a level 1. And while level 1s are great, we all love level 1s. They're transactional referrals. Of course we love level 1 referrals, and we love being able, if you're like me, I love when people are in my network are also clients of mine, because it allows me to be a part of their success story on multiple levels. And so that gives me an opportunity. But when we're here in Inspired Nation, level 1 should be, based on a training I've taught many years ago, like the cherry on top. They're sweet, they're wonderful, but they shouldn't be your entire meal. If you go into a networking event and all you're gathering is just a bowl of cherries, you may think you're very successful at that networking event or in this networking group or in another one, but I can assure you that eventually if you gobble up all those cherries, you're going to be left with a bunch of stems, and you're still going to be hungry at the end. You don't have a sustainable diet of referrals. And so that's another training for another day. But yes, if you see someone on here that posts something and they're a solution to your need, by all means, reach out to them and engage into a conversation, get to know them. If you want to know more about them, ask for references. Ask for references in the group. Let people go out there and do a shout out about that professional as you're making a decision. The only thing that we're asking you guys to do is be careful about private messaging anyone and trying to sell to them. when you see them out there with a particular need, unless they're asking for it. And of course, this group's not necessarily geared towards the in search of, but there's a lot of groups out there. So, you know, maybe your post is more like, I'm in search of, how can someone help me connect with? And it can go, it can, you know, obviously go that way. It's an opportunity for a referral. But what I would look at is that chance to share each other's information, to be bigger than a single transaction. Okay, so think of it that way, to be bigger than a single transaction. So now that we've given time for people to jump on, hopefully you guys go out here, leave your comments, leave your introductions, even if you're watching this back on the replay. I want you to put your information down below. Now, here's the deal. As people post things in the comments, go out there, jump on their page, hit like, hit comment, look for a post that you think would, you know, that would be appropriate to share on your information. You may find someone that you would like to potentially set up a strategy session with them and begin to develop a true, you know, what I call deep dive into what a referral strategic alliance relationship would look like. But, you know, this is a great place to just start, Now, the topic I put up this morning was the good and the bad of networking. And as I said, when you've done this a long time, you know, I have way more success stories I could sit here and share with you guys that I've seen with people. My own story, David's story. I have clients that we see success stories all the time. But I would be very misleading to all of you if I was to tell you that it was the end-all and that you would never have any challenges, you would never have any roadblocks. I would never have any authenticity if that's what I sat here and said to you guys. So I'm going to kind of start it. So if you're watching this, really what I'm looking for in the comments is, you know, I would love for you guys to share with everyone some of the things you've experienced when it's come to networking. They could be funny, or they could be, you know, shake your head, can't believe this happened. Here's the thing though. No name calling, no organization name calling, no individual business name calling. Please keep your scenarios generic. We're more talking about the experience than calling out anyone here directly on this post. So we want to keep this professional, and we want to learn from the good things and from those things that are challenging. So I'll kind of start. So let's see, Julia, the good. Once I connected two people, and one of them credited me with launching his career with that introduction. Isn't that amazing how, you know, we think something is a simple introduction. It could be, you know, a quick, you need to meet this person, and then you never know where that introduction can take. And you know, I was going to tell a different story, but Julia, that one actually reminds me of, and I always say this is a good and a bad. So how many of you have ever signed up to work a trade show or a conference, and the conference itself just didn't end up having the audience there that it needed to be, and it was kind of empty? And so you have all these vendors who have their tables set up, and there's no one really there to come by the tables, and you know, you're sitting at that event and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this was a waste of time and money. And I have to admit, you know, that happened to David and I very early on in experiencing, you know, getting inspired out there. And I remember we had traveled out. I mean, this was a really big out-of-pocket expense one. 2 airplane tickets. We had 2 hotel rooms. We had the event that we worked at. We were speakers, so I think we had some of that compensated. But when there's nobody in the audience, you know, it's really a big cost. How many of you guys, I mean, like, seriously, hit the like button, whether you've traveled or not, or it's a local event. And again, we're not calling out any organizations. It can happen to anyone. You know, any organization can have a dud event. But this one was one that it was a little painful in the pocketbook. And I remember, you know, as all the vendors got there the night before, the organizers were awesome. Like, they knew how to run an event. It's just for whatever fluke reason, the audience attendance wasn't there. And so, but they gathered all the vendors together the night before, and we all got a chance to introduce ourselves. And so that if at the event, when people were attending, if someone came up to someone else's table and happened to mention this or that, then someone would know how to send them to your table, you know. So everybody's going around, and these are pretty seasoned networkers. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, they had it down pat to how to tell people exactly how to send people to my table. If you hear this is my target market, this is what they're going to say, you may see this. And a lot of us knew each other, so the credibility was high, visibility was high for all of us, you know, like, so we all knew. And then there was this gentleman that, and I laugh, but I can tell this to say there's a reason for all of this, but there was this gentleman that was a vendor, and none of us really knew him. So, you know, we kind of introduced ourselves, but it was his turn to go. And it was very obvious very quickly that the minute he stood up and began to do how we could help him, he went into sales mode. And I don't even know that people understand that they're in sales mode, but he was in sales mode. You know, he's doing what I think most people are trained to do, you know, tell about their attributes of their company, you know, what their services are, how they can help people, why they're passionate about it, you know, all the things that sound like they would be really good. But to seasoned networkers, it was like Charlie Brown's teacher. You didn't give me anything. You talked about what you can do and all that, but not really about your who. And so I remember sitting there, and it was an industry that at the time I was like, you know, I have a ton of these people that I know personally. I'm not sure that this is going to be a really good referral partner for me. And so I remember just almost kind of like checking him off a little bit off my list. And so I'm honest about that. And then I go to the table setup, and I realize that we are right beside each other. Do you guys hear Tucker? He's agreeing to us right here. So what happens is, we ended up having our table assignments right next to each other. So of course, you know, with there not being an audience, there wasn't that many people to talk to. So we ended up having to talk to each other. And I say having to talk to each other because I felt like he had to talk to me. I had to talk to him at the entire conference. And I tell you, it was a 3-day conference. So 3 days we're there with no one else really there. And so we began to chat, and I find out that he, you know, he's there to discover more about referral marketing. And so I happen to be one of the speakers, and I invite him to my workshop. I mean, why not, right? Nobody else was going to be there. So I said, come to my workshop. Trust me, we can watch your table for you out here while you're in there with me. And I said, come listen to my view of how I see referral marketing. Long story short, we exchanged business cards. Nowhere on his business card did it tell me the title of his business. And so I just thought he was, you know, a sales rep for this insurance company. And so conference ends, we'd had a couple of more conversations. A couple of weeks later, I get this phone call, and it's this gentleman, and he said, hey, I'm flying into the Augusta area. I'm calling on a client. May I take you to lunch? And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm really going to be sold to now. And so, but I joined him. He was a nice guy. We're sitting down, we're doing a strategy session, and he basically tells me, look, I'm going over to visit my client. I would love for you to go with me, and if you can convince them to try referral marketing instead of the traditional things they're doing, and it works, I would love to bring you into our company and train more. Needless to say, that went very well, and you know, very shortly within that, I was training at their annual event. I was training their top producers around the United States, and I always laugh. It comes back to truly referral marketing, it comes back to actually having conversations, sometimes getting out of your own way, which was me, getting out of your own way and not making assumptions, and but staying true to your message and really thinking about, well, how can I help someone versus sell to somebody. And so anyhow, you know, one of those things that you never know, that next introduction, that next conversation, how it can make an impact on your business or someone else's. And so always laugh. Those are one of those stories where I sit back and go, man, you know, I could have messed up and lost an opportunity, but instead just kind of kept staying with it and kept having that conversation. And I can laugh about that to this day. So another story. So you guys have, I'm refreshing over here, and I'm sure I'm not the only one out there who's had some oopses. So let's talk about this. How many of you have ever been to an event and you struggle with remembering people's names? Like, you recognize them, you know who they are, you even know about their company, you probably even know how to refer them, but you can't remember their name. Like, it's just gone. I mean, this is one of my biggest struggles. And so, but they don't have any name tags, or their name tag is like in an inappropriate place for you to look at, and it just makes it really awkward. So that would be one of the negative sides of referral marketing, is, you know, always kind of being awkward. So here's a solution. If you're going with a networking partner, and I'm sure there's other solutions, feel free to share down below. But go with a networking partner and just get used to really picking up on each other's signal of knowing when that person probably doesn't know that person. I don't know about you, but Doug and I have signals like that when we're out to dinner and we need to introduce each other to someone that comes up to the table. We realize that the other person can't remember their name. Have that same thing at a networking event, so that you have that ability to have someone you know, help you introduce themselves and get the name for you. I don't know if that's ever happened to anyone. How many of you have ever gone to a lunch and learn to meet new people, and you set this goal? I'm going to sit at a table with new people that I don't know, and you do so to only find out that you sat at a table with everyone from the same company and they all know each other, and it doesn't matter how you try to talk, they just seem to talk to each other. Like, they came for lunch, they didn't come for networking, and you feel like that is a complete waste of time. And you know, I can small talk with the best of them, but there's just sometimes that is so frustrating to realize that you know, that there's a potential opportunity that I wasn't able to actually break in and make any headway towards my goals at that particular event. Let's see. How many times have you had someone, or even you, like, let's be self-awareness here a moment. How many of you realize that there may be something sometimes where you've kind of been made a bad impression, or maybe you had a bad day and you know that you didn't put your best self forward? You know, it could be you arrived late, you left early, or maybe, like I said, you're just having a bad day. And or how many of you have had to network with a negative Ned, and you wish you had someone who could come rescue you from that conversation? You know, so there's definitely some times where networking can be awkward. Let's do one more roadblock here. Oh, here's one. How many of you have ever been a part of a group where everyone feels like, or I've heard this, where there's this mentality in the group, and I'm all about loyalty, okay? So don't get me wrong, I'm all about being loyal to your referral partners, but it kills me when I have clients or other networkers who they're in a group and there's an industry that's a really good referral source for them, and if they could duplicate that referral source over and over and over again, it would make a huge impact on their business, you know, huge impact. And yet they've been guilted into, you can only have a referral relationship with this one person because you're in this group, okay? And some of you might be watching this and going, that's crazy. Okay, I've seen it happen more times than you like. In fact, I've even had groups say that it's only allowed if you're in this group. And first of all, let me tell you, that is a scary, scary, scary situation, because why would you ever, ever, ever want 100% give that kind of exclusivity? I think exclusivity should be earned, and it should be something that, if that person is going to feed you all of your business and they're guaranteed to do that for you the rest of your entire career, hey, have at it, go for it. But what I have found over the years is that you are responsible for your own success story, and there's nothing wrong with coming up with ways to reciprocate referrals to more than one. And I have some really good referral partners that are in the same exact industry. So yes, it can be tricky navigating that, that situation where you're trying to, to give back to people who've been a part of your success story. So there's multiple ways you can do that. You can give out more than one, more than one referral. You can find out from the person who needs the referral more details so that maybe you can match up that referral better to the person you're referring. Sometimes you can do a rotation effect. This time this person gets the referral, the next referral goes to the next person. So I don't think anyone should have to be plugged in and feel like you have to. I mean, you haven't signed this contract out there saying that you're only going to refer to this, this one set of people. And I think it's wrong to expect people to feel that way. I feel like if you do what you do and you do it well, there's going to be plenty of business out there. And ultimately, I think exclusivity is earned. Strategic alliances are out there, but you need to go through those processes of wanting, willing, and able, or what we call, through that introductory training, but really strategic at the end. But I think you should be very, very careful about putting yourself in a box. And there's more than one way to do referral marketing with similar industries that can feed your business. Just be professional, but always be honest about it. I never tell someone you're not sending referrals somewhere when you are. Just let people know that you're opening up opportunities and you're allowing the client or the referral to make the choice. I mean, ultimately, it's the client we're trying to make happy, right? Because in the end, that's really what we're all trying to do when we're providing our product or service, is the person who is receiving that on the other side. So I hope you guys have enjoyed today's. Let's see real quick. I've got some last one. Julia wrote on here the bad. I set up a strategy session. She suggested the day, time, and location, and then didn't show. I learned to confirm all my strategies. Yeah, we've heard the no-show, no call. Look, everybody can double book there, but once you realize you've double booked, you need to get on that phone, apologize, reset up, be more accommodating. I always tell people, okay, there are certain time blocks I have on my calendar where I don't do this. They're completely open when I've made a goof and I need to make up with that. So that is a challenge. But the good is those strategy sessions that you fall into, right? How many of you have ended up having a casual conversation that ended up turning into a strategy session that had some punch behind it, right? Like it was impactful. They were able to make introductions, or they were able to make suggestions, and it doesn't necessarily mean a referral. It could be, oh, you need to try this for your business, or you need to check out this website or this app or this software that will solve the problem you're having. And sometimes that one simple suggestion can make a huge impact on your business. And let's see, Julia, let's see. All right, well, I'll keep watching these. I think I've read every one of these out. Maria, the owner operator, so definitely go check out Maria Kelly. She is launching out her new information. In fact, I believe we'll have all of her website stuff up this week, but Kelly's co-host on demand and Kelly's hands on demand. Neat lady out there. You guys should go out there and figure out what she's doing so that you can help tell other people about her. And then, of course, we've got people jumping on here. We want to be a part of your success story. Guys, have a fantastic Tuesday, and I hope you've enjoyed just sharing some of these tips. I look forward to seeing some of your stories down below. Remember, the good and the bad, and have a little fun about it. It's always fun to laugh at ourselves. I could tell you all kind of stories. Some of them wouldn't be appropriate for on here that I've seen with referral marketing, but I will tell you that if it has not grown my business and if it hasn't connected me with some incredible people, I wouldn't have formed an entire business based on it. I enjoy all of my referrals, and I encourage each and every one of you to go out this week and inspire others. I'm Amy D. Kilpatrick, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday at 10 o'clock for a few more tips.